I woke up this morning to see this shit on my news page. Sorry. I want to tap on this a little bit. This is bullshit. Literally. Like, this is the worst shit I've ever seen. Fucking ever. Like, seriously. We're being so real right now. If we're looking at this from someone who's religiously neutral, I'm religiously neutral. I just don't have a religious belief. I don't really care for religion. You believe what you want to believe, but don't force that shit on me. It pisses me off because this is completely and utterly just like stuffing religion down our throats. Because these Christian freaks, or whatever you want to call them, I don't know, like, who the fuck put these guys in office, but it's not okay. And I'm not saying that all Christians are bad, but what the fuck is wrong with the people in office? Because we're putting the wrong people in power. And I'm tapping on this now because we gave these fuckers the 10 commandments. They put them in the classrooms. That pissed me off. Because that's why the fuck why do we have to know this if I don't give a fuck about your religion? I'm so sorry. You believe what you want to believe, I'll believe what I want to believe, but don't force that shit on me. But you want to force your 10 commandments in my face, but God forbid I tell you I'm religiously neutral and suddenly a horrible person. I should be sentenced to hell. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you people? Like, what is wrong with the state of Texas individually? This state has hit the fan severely. It's one of the lowest cost of living states, and now I understand why. It's because nobody wants to fucking live here. I don't want to live here. I don't want to raise my kids in this fuck ass state because this shit. When I have kids, I don't want religion to be forced onto them. If they want to believe that, then let them believe that, but don't push it onto them. People should be free thinkers. We shouldn't have to be like, well, this is what society wants, because society is forming this ideology that you have to be in one group of people and you can't be different. You can't set yourself apart. You have to be a part of one individual group. You have to be religious. And if you're religious, you have to know which religion you're in. And if you're not religious, then what the fuck are you? That's how they treat you around here, and it's so bullshit. Like, you get discriminated in Texas for not being Christian. And it's just because nobody wants to look at you like you're a person because you don't go to church every Sunday, read a Bible, and pray to the holy fucking Lord every night. I'm so sorry, but I don't think that way. I've never thought that way. But you forcing this shit on me is like, it's so bullshit. You're pushing this onto kids, and I know this doesn't take effect until like 2030, but like, that's future generations you're attacking the free thinking of. You're literally taking the free thinking out of their heads and the way that they can form their own beliefs because you're pushing your beliefs down their throat. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, seriously, you Texas State Board of Education, if you gave two flying shits about your students, you'd realize that just because a vast majority of your school is Christian doesn't mean you have to force this shit on us. I don't want to read your goddamn Bible verses. I don't care. And I don't think a lot of people would care. Everybody I surround myself with is not religious at the very slightest. And if they are, I respect that because they don't force it on me. They're forcing this shit on kids that they don't even need to be concerned about this stuff. Like, seriously, it's going to be forced from K to 12. We're going to be pushing Bible verses in kindergarten. That's not. Why does it fucking matter? Like, if nobody believes in your religion in the first place, like, say Christianity is dying out, maybe just let it die. I don't know what to tell you. Like, why do you have to force this shit onto us? Why is this our problem that you feel so entitled that everybody should share the same views as you? It's so fucking insane and so, like, tone deaf. It's so unrealistic to how society actually should be. I'm a very big believer that free thinking is the greatest way to mature. being able to think freely about any situation you're placed in and not being told given the black or white and to be able to look at the gray because there's always gray to fucking everything. But I can't see how this benefits anyone. This literally benefits 0 people because what are we doing? And I've asked that a lot because I don't fucking understand. You've been trying to force this on us for years. I was already pissed this year when I walked into my first classroom and I saw the 10 commandments hanging on every fucking classroom. Like I give a fuck. Like they're trying to push these beliefs into our heads and I don't get why. I'll never get why. I'll never get why these fucking people can't just let us fucking live. Cuz see, the Texas State Board of Education has approved a proposal that will establish lists of required reading, including Bible verses alongside classic titles. Why? For K through 12 English and literature curriculum, instead of reading shit that enables free thinking like To Kill a Mockingbird, which you fuckers actively tried to ban. We've tried to ban To Kill a Mockingbird before when it literally just influences free thinking. And now you're pushing your ritualistic views, your religious views or whatever onto us because we tried to be free thinkers. I don't understand why. Like, why are we doing this? And I keep asking that because I'm in disbelief. I'm genuinely so in disbelief about how the fuck this is okay. Under Constitution, I thought we were supposed to separate the church from the goddamn state, and it doesn't look like it's happening here. We're not separating the church from the state, and freedom of religion is effectively thrown out the window here. Like, we took a Texas 12 gauge to freedom of religion. It's so crazy. Like this shit is pushing me to atheism. I've never been atheist at all. Never had any atheist views. I've always been religiously neutral. And whatever the fuck happens, happens. I don't have a belief, and that's how I like to live my life. However, when people are like Christians specifically in the state of Texas are like, we have to have this in the curriculum. I want my kids reading Bible verses. Do that shit at home. Why do we have to bring this to our school system? Like, what the fuck? Because, see, we have so many different people. Like, everybody's completely fucking different, and not everybody's going to believe the same. So, why would you push such a belief onto those people? Like, it's so fucked. Let's keep reading. The plan will impact more than 5 million public school students as Texas emerges a leader in national conservative effort to infuse Christian teachings into American classrooms. Multiple titles will be mandated for each grade, and one must be read in its entirety. Are you fucking kidding me? The effort goes as far beyond a 2023 law that requires one state board approved literary I don't know how to talk work to be taught in each grade level. Where it's not unusual to suggest book titles for schools, Texas may be the first to prescribe a literary canon for every public school student, two experts told the Associated Press. Many students are already familiar with some Christian teachings. This state last year became the largest state to require classrooms to display the Ten Commandments, a recently upheld in federal court. But why? But why? But why? But why? But why? But why? Like, this is so fucking sickening that these fucking people would rather rip our right to think freely because we don't want to be what they believe. They don't want to be the picture that they paint for us because we don't want to be on the black or the white. We want to be in the fucking gray, and we're the bad people, right? I genuinely think this is the worst fucking thing to ever touch down on this planet ever. And I mean that not from like this is worse than anything that's happened in the past. I ain't even talking about the past. I could give a fuck about anything that's happened in the past. I'm talking that since I've been alive, this has to be one of the worst things that's ever happened. From 2008 ever forward, there's probably been a lot of bad events, yes. And let me reword this because I feel like it's coming off wrong. I want to say right now that this is one of the worst things I've ever seen come from a government, especially a government in the United States that is formed around the belief of freedom. It's formed around the belief that we should all be entitled to our own beliefs, our own practices, and everything between. And most states are doing a great job at that and maintaining that freedom of religion, freedom of speech. But it seems that Texas is trying to silence anybody who isn't Christian. They're trying to silence us because we don't view the world the same way they do. We have completely different lenses, you fucking dumbasses. Literally, we have completely different views, completely different lives. So why would you force your ideology into my head? Why do I give a fuck about your ideology when you didn't even take 2 seconds to think about how you pushing these goddamn laws to put Christianity in the public school system would affect anybody who isn't Christian? Because you fuckers are so selfish. It's so crazy. You're like, we're doing this to benefit the kids. You're literally benefiting nobody except for your ego. I'm waiting in 5 years after this drops. You're gonna be like, well, let's look at it this way. I've been one of the biggest advocates for Texas students to be raised on religious beliefs. They're going to be bragging about that. You're going to be bragging that you stripped students away from their free thinking. Because I feel like I said, all students should have their own beliefs and they should evolve as they get older and they should be able to form their own views on the world. I've always been that way. I've always believed that free thinking has been one of the greatest traits I've ever noticed that I've had because I've always been able to see everything in a gray area. I've always been able to look at things and find a gray area and see both sides, but I genuinely cannot see how this benefits anybody except for Christians. And I I can't do this, bro. This is so fucking bullshit. A new list of required titles will include a picture book adaptation of David and the Goliath story for elementary students and Bible passages about Adam and Eve for older students. According to a proposed list online, will also heavily emphasize classic literature and historic American context, such as Abraham Lincoln's The Gettysburg Address. But like, what relevance? And then at the same meeting Friday, the school board also approved a rewrite of the state's social studies curriculum, focusing more on Texas and U.S. history and de-emphasizing some teachings about global history and cultures. You literally just fucking admitted that you're trying to silence other cultures. Why? Why the fuck are we silencing cultures? Why can't we learn about everybody? Why do we have to learn about you? Who gives a fuck about you? Who gives two flying goddams about your religion? I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I don't give two flying damns. And I guarantee that anybody who's making content on this specifically feels the same way. Because we don't see the world the way you do. So why would you try to make us? You're gonna have to break my fucking neck to turn me Christian at this point. Because what the fuck are you guys doing? And I know it's not all of you, it's the people in power. Why are we putting you in power? You guys are horrible people. You're ripping our freedoms away from us. It starts with the 10 Commandments. They gave you an inch, you're taking a fucking mile. And more than a mile. You're fully blending your beliefs into an education system literally trying to rewrite history to drown out other cultures. The proposals have sharply divided teachers, parents, and community members, as they should. Hundreds of whom appeared before the school board this week to voice their concern and enthusiasm. Enthusiasm? Shut the fuck up. Supporters argue the Bible should be studied as an essential literary text that can help students understand Western history and the founding of the U.S. But it doesn't fucking matter. They teach U.S. history so you can see the historical events of what happened. That's the gray area. Bad things happen along the way, and that's how America was founded. And I'm going to quote a Vince Staples song here. Empires built on blood-stained ground. And that's just how America is. That's how it was founded. It was founded on blood-stained ground, and I don't advocate for that, but it also happened in the past. We live the future that they gave us. And they're trying to rip it away from us now, saying that religion is an essential part of American education and whatever, when it really isn't. The way they've been teaching history to now has been the best it's been, because they give us everything from different perspectives. They give us Texas history, they give us US history, and they give us everything on how we got to where we are now. So why the fuck are we rewriting the history books to drown out cultures, to implement and inject your Christian ideologies, when we could just fucking keep things the same and we don't have to worry about it? If you want to study the Bible, do that shit on your own goddamn time. Don't bring that shit to me. Anyways, board member Brendan Hall, during a news conference this Thursday, called proposal a generation opportunity to overhaul the state curriculum. Brandon Hall, what the fuck is wrong with you? What's your problem? Like, who the fuck do you think you are doing this? Like, were you loved? Were you shown the right way to think? Because this is so fucked. This is like the most tone deaf thing I've ever seen. You're forcing your religion on us and calling it a generational opportunity. A generational opportunity would be dropping out of office right the fuck now and taking this shit back. That would be a generational opportunity. In fact, I would applaud you if you just left. Went off the grid, disappeared. Because if that's you who wrote this shit, disappear. Like, I don't ever want to see you. I don't ever want to hear your name again. Like, you disgust me. And I don't even know who you are just doing this. If you wrote this, you fucking disgust me. We have to stop. We're going to stop watering down Americans' history. We're going to teach the truth. Our nation was founded as a Christian nation, and Texas is a Christian state. We're not watering down history. In fact, if anything, it's so cut and dry. And I say cut and dry in the sense that they're not watering shit down. Like, they're just keeping religion out of it. God forbid we wrote things in a different perspective than how you wanted it. God forbid, right? God forbid that we have different views than you. God forbid we have different beliefs. Forbid that we have different ideologies. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't fucking understand. Said Hall, a Republican who was a pastor in Springtown. Of course it's a fucking pastor. I'm gonna feed into the stereotype here and say you probably do some pretty bad things too. He said the Bible has a remarkable impact on our culture, our societies, and our laws. So? I do know that most of the laws were founded on Christian beliefs, but they're also not written in Christian ways to push that ideology. Like, we're not Christians. I'm not a Christian. And I say we're not because I don't think anybody in my house is Christian. I'm sure everybody is gray as I am, and if not, then I'm sorry if any of this pisses you off, but this is bullshit, and I'm sure that anybody around me would see that as truth. Why are we pushing? I'm gonna keep circling back to this until it clicks that we're ripping free thinking. We're truly putting people in a corner. We're putting this next generation of students in a corner and making them believe that this is the only way that things should be. This is the only way things were, when it's not. We could always have a gray area. There's always a gray area, and they've done such a great job, especially this year at my high school. Reading To Kill a Mockingbird literally sideswiped my entire view on the world because it taught me how to see everything in the fucking middle. Instead of looking at either side, you look forward. It's so tone deaf. However, those who oppose the changes say the mandatory reading list favors Christianity over other religions and violates the separation between church and state. Exactly. And it's not even that it favors Christianity over other religions, because it does, but you're also not thinking about the fact that people aren't, like, some people aren't religious. Some people just don't see the world that way. Some people don't live their life that way. So why are we trying to make people live their life that way? Board member Evelyn Brooks, who was the only Republican to vote against new required text, said that during the debate at Friday she believes the move is unconstitutional. It is. It's so unconstitutional. You're literally backhanding the federal government by doing this right now. I applaud you, Evelyn. Evelyn Brooks, come to my house and shake my fucking hand right now. Because you're the only one who opposed this. The only one. This points to a bigger issue of who's in power. Who is in power in the state that this is a problem? This is genuinely a problem. Teachers need their autonomy. They've been selecting books for decades, for years. They have been, but they haven't done a bad job at it. The books we've read in school, at my school, especially in high school, have literally just reinforced free thinking. These changes will begin going into effect in the 2030 and 2031 school year. I would suspect that there's going to be a lot of growing pains, just like anything, any change in education, said board member LJ Francis, who voted in favor. LJ Francis, you disappear too. Just disappear. Just leave. Just go. Just get the fuck out. I think the reading scores will go up. I think we'll see children learning to love reading again. If we're not reading, you making us reading the Bible is not going to change anything. I ain't even going to read this, bro, because that's so fucking insane as a caption. We should not be bringing religion into schools unless you're going to a religious school, like especially like a Christian college or something, or some Bible school, some Bible study school. Then why the fuck are we even pushing this into the public school system? I I'm just gonna scroll through this. This is sickening. This is so sickening. Not all of us believe the same. I'm gonna read this. Board member Tiffany Clark, a Christian and Democrat who represents parts of Dallas Fort Worth, has vocally opposed the curriculum. She said some of her Christian constitute I don't know how to say that. Sorry. Bible lessons should be taught on Sundays. That's for you to decide in your house. That's your house, but don't bring that to me. Not all of us believe the same. Literally. Literally what I've been preaching this whole time. Not all of us believe in whatever the fuck the Bible has to say. Clark told CNN, noting that Christian denominations reference different translations of the Bible, at times differ from their interpretations. I don't understand what that means, but I also don't give a fuck to learn about the Bible to know. The new curriculum mandates specific Bible translation, including the King James Bible, which is widely used by Protestant and evangel- evangelical churches, but is avoided by the Roman Catholic Church. I don't give a fuck what Bibles you're using, because I will rip up any Bible that is placed in front of me. If I have to stay in this state and I hear that this is being pushed on my kids, I will literally go to that school and rip up every fucking Bible in there. I will burn them all. Burn every single one. I will go to any Walmart and burn every Bible that I ever buy. I will burn every single one as a protest to this shit, because this is fucking insane. Okay. Clark also fears that the emphasis on Christian texts would alienate children who come from other religious backgrounds and prevent their parents from solely shaping their religious education. About a third of adults in Texas identify as non-Christian, according to Pew Research Center surveys from 2023 and 2024. So you're saying that you openly know that you don't, that a lot of people don't have the same beliefs, yet you're actively trying to convert us. Actively. Clark told CNN on Saturday that Texas, roughly 5.5 million public school students, represent a large range of religions, including Islam, Hinduism, and Buddhism, which is argued is inappropriate for the state to impose a mandate centered on one faith. Exactly. I just don't think it's fair to the students that we serve. Though parents will have the option to opt their children out of some required teachings, Clark said, missing lessons could impact students' test scores because the text will be part of the curriculum. They could be included on standardized testing, potentially impacting the school district's test record if the students don't perform well. Bomb the tests. If you're watching this shit in 2030 or you're raising your kids in 2030, bomb that fucking test. Bomb it. Like, literally fail it. Make every school in Texas go out of business. Because honestly, they deserve it. I hope somebody throws Molotovs at a Christian church for this. I also say that I don't. Let me rephrase. I don't feel all Christians should be attacked for this, and I apologize for saying what I just said out of frustration. But let me say it like this. Anybody who believes that their religion should be pushed into a public school system and enforced in curriculums really just need to get the fuck back. They need to get the fuck out. Just homeschool your kids at that point. Make your own goddamn curriculum. Is it that hard? Do we really have to rip our rights just so you can get a smile on your face because you're like, my kids get to learn about religion? Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Brandon Hall. Brandon Hall, shut the fuck up. Teachers know what their students need. Our students need to focus on reading comprehension and understanding how to dissect information. We can't get there through this method. Exactly. One mother who spoke before the school board on Monday in support of the proposal, she said that Texas has always stood for giving the kids the knowledge they need to succeed. And now they're trying to shift the term success as being a certain belief. Success will always be whatever you want it to be. Everybody forms their own beliefs on success, and you're also trying to take that away from us. I don't consider myself successful, and I won't consider myself successful if I'm working a 9 to 5 that I hate but making a lot of money. I wouldn't consider myself successful until I have a career that I want, that I enjoy, and that I'm making a living off of. I'm not considering myself successful until that moment. And the fact that they're trying to push their own terms on what they believe is success is an even more call out to what the fuck is wrong with the Texas State Board of Education. It's so fucked that this is actively being supported. Keeping biblical references in our social studies standards isn't about pushing my religion, it's about giving students a complete education here and making sure they understand history. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. You're pushing your religion into people who don't believe the same way. When history was already written just fine to understand it without having the religious context. However, teachers may put in a position to teach religious texts that they are not familiar or comfortable with, said Rabbi Joshua Fixler with Congregation Emmanuel in Houston. Mr. Joshua Fixler, don't push your goddamn religion on me. Get the fuck out. The list is full of Christian texts that are inappropriate for public school classrooms. As a rabbi and a parent of Jewish kids, I think it is vital that this board make a distinction between teaching religion and teaching about religion and teaching religion. This will force teachers to cross that line. Just don't teach it at all. The mandated literature curriculum will be a first of its kind, according to Antero Garcia, president of the National Council of Teachers of English and Stanford University education professor. First of its kind because no other state has ever thought to violate human and constitutional rights to get their religion to be pushed forward. No other state. And you can prove me wrong, but it still wouldn't matter. If any other state is doing this, I know where the fuck I'm not living. People ask me all the time why the fuck I want to get out of Texas so bad, and it's bullshit like this. I don't believe in your religion. I get that Texas is a religious state, but it literally said that 1/3 of your population isn't Christian, which is a huge number in case you fucking dumbasses in the Board of Education aren't aware. That's a huge number. Garcia told the AP that he doesn't know about any other state with a similar list. Exactly, because they're not fucking stupid. Educators at the district and school levels are generally able to choose what text their students will read. There you have it. There you have it. Should we watch this video? It's 2 minutes long. Never mind. I don't want to watch her video.
In our national lead, from Sunday school to public school. Today, the Texas State Board of Education approved a proposal requiring more than 5 million public school students in Texas to study Christian Bible stories in their public school classrooms, amplifying a conservative effort to weave
keyword conservative
Christian teachings into U.S. publications.
Weave. Run that back.
Teachings into U.S. publication.
Run that back.
Christian teachings into U.S. classrooms, amplifying a conservative effort to weave Christian teachings into U.S. publication.
Weave Christian beliefs into public education.
Effort to weave Christian teachings
into publication. Into Texas publication. You're literally just said that you're trying to weave this shit into our studies when it's so fucking tone deaf and stupid that you're doing this in the first place. If we really want to talk about students not learning, maybe that's on them. Because you can't say that pushing the Bible in our curriculum is going to change any of what we're learning. It's not going to change the fact that students are retaining the same information but in a religious context. And it doesn't make sense that if you can avoid the religious context so you don't fucking offend anybody or push your religion onto people, that you wouldn't choose that route. You're saying you're trying to push a pure American belief when the pure American belief is separating the church from the state and having freedom of religion. That is not pure American at all. In fact, it's the farthest from it I've ever heard.
The proposed curriculum requires specific Bible translations drawn from Protestant Bibles. One reason some Catholics
it doesn't fucking matter what Bible it is.
CNN's Ed Lavandera is live in Dallas with the latest. Ed?
Well, Jake, this was a very controversial vote after hours and
of course
hours
it is, because you're
throughout the week. The Texas State Board of
Because
Education
this is
heard
so
from
fucking
hundreds of
stupid.
people. They voted
Rot.
largely along party lines. The State Board of Education, heavily controlled by conservative Republicans, and they voted mostly along those lines to approve this new curriculum, which many education experts say no other state in the country has adopted. But it essentially it requires some biblical teachings at every grade.
Requires biblical teachings at every grade level. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I feel that sums this up perfectly. I feel that this sums up everything I've covered today perfectly. That Texas's fucking education system is so stupid and so fucking slow and so intoned with their religious beliefs that they believe that they're doing us a favor by pushing this into us, by teaching us the pure American way, the pure American story. Shut up, you bitch. You're not teaching us shit. You're just teaching us your religion and trying to form it as something that isn't what it is. And it's unconstitutional. And it's ripping away unalienable rights that were granted to us by the Constitution that was written for freedom. Freedom of religion, speech, and press. Keyword religion. Religion. Freedom of religion. Therefore, people who don't give a fuck about your religion shouldn't have to give a fuck about your religion and shouldn't be forced to give a fuck about your religion. It's so stupid. All you people in the Texas Board of Education need to shut your mouth, get off your high horse, fucking retire, divorce your spouses, move to the woods, and never contact society again. And you should suffer in solace, in silence, for the rest of your life. You should sit in the woods alone for the damage that you're doing to the public. Because this is genuinely the worst law I've ever seen pushed, ever. And now I don't know anything about the world around me. And I mean that in the way that, like, I don't actively look up shit unless it affects me. I don't actively look into things unless it affects me. And this is heavily affecting me and my future. And I'm starting to realize now that these politics are something that I sometimes have to keep my eye on, whether I want to turn a blind eye to it or not. Because things like this are literally stripping away the rights that we were granted at birth. As a U.S. citizen, we are all entitled to these very same rights that they are stripping away from us in this state because they believe they're doing something right. And that points to religion and how they feel that everybody should believe the same. And if you don't, then you'll be sentenced to hell or whatever the fuck they want to say. And I send my respects to the Christians who don't think that way. I salute you, but keep your religion the fuck away from me. All you people who are sitting in power that are pushing your religion onto the students, the kids, get the fuck away from me. I do not plan to stay in the state much longer. I don't want to raise my kids in the state. When I have kids, I won't want to raise them here unless this is revoked. This is so incredibly hypocritical to say you're teaching pure American culture and real American stories when the American story has always been freedom. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I apologize if I've gotten anything wrong here. I'm making this video from a point of anger and frustration. So my words are definitely more aggressive, and I apologize for coming off that way, but I want you guys to understand that this shit is outraging to people in my shoes per se. And I mean in my shoes as in believing or thinking about the world kind of the same way that I do, either believing in another religion or not having a belief. And it shouldn't be taught that it's wrong to have a different belief or not having one at all. It shouldn't be taught in schools about religion. We shouldn't be taught in schools about religion. It just shouldn't happen. Especially public schools, it shouldn't happen. I thank you all so much for watching. And it's don't go if you're not in Texas, don't come to Texas. It's really not worth it. You would rather chew on cinder blocks in Idaho than ever be in Texas. I'm telling you that now. Because this is genuinely the worst shit ever. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm not even gonna bother editing this. I'm just probably gonna push it out. Because this is something that needs to be addressed. This is something that needs to be told about from a student's perspective and someone who's about to leave the school system. This needs to be talked about. I don't know why they're doing this in the first place. Anyway, I will see you guys next time.